what a year it must have been for you with the Ottawa Fury. What were you hearing from the club throughout the season? Did you see it coming? What was the year like for you?
No, I mean, we didn't really hear much. To be honest, we were focused on the season. Obviously, we knew it would happen earlier in the year in January with the whole sanctioning stuff and with Canada Soccer. So we knew that was sort of something that they were working on in behind the scenes. But after it was said and done, we kind of just focused on the football. We just did our stuff. We never really heard anything about it. I mean, even leading up to the end of the year, in our last playoff game, we still didn't know. We were having our exit year, end of the year meeting, sorry, and nothing was mentioned. So everything seemed to be all right. And then sort of the news was dropped on us randomly, and it was a shock for everyone, and it was tough to see because I know the fan base was there, and I knew everything was in place, and the Fury was held
The
true.
fan base is still there. The fan base is still there, Chris. Come on, man.
Of course. At the time, we didn't know that Atletico Ottawa was coming in, so it was tough to see. And then as soon as Atletico Ottawa was announced, it was I'd gotten messages to people seeing if I was going to come back and stuff like that. But they're really happy, but from our standpoint, we didn't really know anything, and it was just tough to hear and sort of grasp.
Yeah, we're gonna talk York 9 eventually, because I know we want to talk about the club you've moved to, and there's some real exciting things happening there. But you have it's a real interesting some real interesting insight into what it was like to be an Ottawa Fury during that time, an Ottawa Fury player during that time. Were players making like contingency plans behind the scenes just in case? I mean, can you say every single player was 100% focused on the Ottawa Fury when there's all these whispers about leaving? I mean, yourself, were you reaching out to York 9 to maybe see if that move made sense if the Ottawa Fury didn't exist anymore?
Really, I can only speak for really myself. I didn't talk to all of the players, obviously. Obviously, I had some good friends, and we did talk about the things as naturally we would, and sort of up in the air. But a lot of the guys were under like 2-year contracts still. They had time remaining on their contract. So as much as maybe you can talk about this, there's nothing really you can do. You're under contract. For myself, it was a little bit of a different story. I was at the end of my contract, so I was up at the end of the year. So naturally, as anyone would do, is you talk to teams, and no matter what it was, whether it be just to find a new club, see what was options available, but also I was talking to Ottawa, and I was talking to Julian. And a big potential was was to possibly stay in Ottawa still. And I'd really enjoyed being with Julian. He had done so much for obviously the city and for myself. So obviously I wanted to see that route out and see what he had to say, and it was a real potential for me. So it was kind of devastating to know that it just come to a halt completely. But yeah, for myself, I was just doing sort of what was natural, so coming to an end of a contract and just trying to find other options for myself.
Yeah. Did the whole Atletico thing just come as a complete surprise to you guys as well? Or did you have any insight in that, a potential club in Ottawa was in the pipeline?
No, nothing. No.
Yeah.
When I had heard the initial rumors of a CPL team coming to Ottawa, I was first confused because I didn't know if it was going to be the Fury.
Right.
I didn't know if it was going to be the same owners. I had no idea. No one really knew. So when I had heard about it and sort of started reading a little bit more, I was surprised. I was surprised because I would have felt a little bit hard done by if it was the Fury, and if we didn't know. I think I would have been a little bit more upset because I think Julian has a really good relationship with all of the players, and he's always been that way. So I would have been a little bit more upset if it was that way and it was him. But reading everything and coming to terms with that was surprising and was quite shocking, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously a heartbreaking end. Is there a bit of bad blood then? Are you looking forward to playing Atletico Ottawa next season or this season?
No bad blood. No bad blood. That's for sure. I mean, the people were obviously really respectful to me over the course of my 2 seasons there. I loved it. It was a second home for me. It was so close to Toronto that it really felt like I could see myself living out there. And so no bad blood. I'm excited. I'm excited to go back to the stadium. I'm excited to see some familiar faces and get back into that stadium.
All right. So how nice is it to be home now? I'm spending a lot of time, obviously, at home these days, but to be back home, I'm looking forward to playing in front of the home fans, obviously, and family as well. What does that feel like for you?
It's amazing. Obviously, my time at TFC was was when it came to an end, I didn't know if I was ever going to play professional soccer at home again. You don't really get the opportunity to come back to either a club you had left or whatever. So I thought that sort of my TFC era and playing it in Toronto was over. And then when sort of the CPL started coming around, and obviously there was a team back in Toronto, I was quite intrigued to potentially have that back and that feeling of playing in front of my family and friends again. So I was quite excited, and when that finally came to fruition, I was really happy.